Let's send out the message. Okay, slowly but surely coming to life here. Hopefully everybody can actually see what's going on here. Please let me know in the chat if you're able to see me or hear me. Still having some technical difficulties right now. Please let me know if you can see or hear me. With the name Crackerjack, I cannot determine who you are, so if you could please let me know what your name is, so that I would assume that it's Jack from class, but I don't want to assume. How can those of you writing in the chat, am I coming through clearly? Is it lagging? Is it okay? Like, you tell me, because right now I can't really tell. Jen, let me know, am I coming through clearly? Am I lagging? It's okay? Well, I guess we'll see what happens once we start. Okay, good, because it seems pretty laggy on my end, but then again, most of my computer processing power is being used to put the stream out, so I'm not so convinced that I'm going to use this computer. I might have to use my gaming laptop next time, because this seems to be not as, I'm not convinced that it's going to hold up very well. So, good morning everyone. Welcome to the first live stream of this distance learning era. I'm hoping that most of you have had a chance to go into the Google Classroom to take a look at what's been popping up. And so once I start moving around and looking inside the Google Classroom, I won't be able to see the chat. So please type your questions in and I will come back to the chat on a fairly regular basis just to double check exactly what's going on there. So please post your questions as they come. So let's start by looking into the classroom. Hopefully it's changing behind me. So clicking on the classroom. Just need to refresh it here because it's showing them as scheduled still. Okay, just give me 1 second here. Yeah, my computer is very slow when I am streaming, so I get the feeling that I will not be using this computer tomorrow for this task because it is too slow. Okay, so once those things populate, they're just taking their time right now. All right, I hope everyone's having a good morning while we wait for this to pop in. Okay. My goodness, it's taking a while. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, yesterday's work has moved into the section called yesterday's work now, right? So upload a file with your favorite thing, you have your grammar sheets for both grades, and you have your advanced sentence correction for both grades. And so these things do need to be completed on very soon. They should be cleaned up this week. I still have to mark this material, and so I will be doing so today. And when I do that, I will be offering you feedback around, areas where you can improve and all that. And as I mentioned yesterday, the key to distance learning in a course like this is the opportunity for me to give you feedback in areas of skill that I feel as if you need to continue to work on. And then you will be able to edit and resubmit if you wish, okay? And so it's all reward, no risk. So you have this is sort of a baseline test to see whether or not you're able to do the work as assigned. I typically start this with almost all grade 9 classes. And just know that originally the advanced sentence correction, there's actually 7 versions of them, so I only gave you 3. So it could have been worse. So please, if you are one of the people that is still sitting in this assigned category, please make sure to clean those up today. And again, also for this one, right now I have it that there are 3 assigned. When it's listed in the assigned, that means that there's been no work submitted yet. So we need to clean those up as soon as possible. Okay? Uploading a file of your favorite thing, I'm not so concerned about that. I still have one person sitting in the assigned category. So if you're somebody who has not yet shown me basically that you are able to use Google Classroom to upload work, then I would ask you to go and take a look at that. Okay? All right, so looking at today's work, we have a number of different things here. We have a novel that has appeared called Crab. Okay? There's 2 different tasks related to that. There is the flash fiction 6-word stories, which is hopefully kind of a fun thinking exercise without as much output, and also we have a media task out of the textbook, and then we have the literacy test practice. So let's talk about the novel first, okay? So the novel of Crab is one that has been done in classes for many years. It was written in the mid-'80s, and it is a Canadian book written by a Canadian author. And it is the story of a young boy, well, I say young, but comparable in age to you guys, who basically rage quits society. They are very frustrated and unable to cope with all of the rules and responsibilities and pressures being put on them. And so they make the decision to go and live in the wild, to go and live in the forest, to go and run away. However, it is a lesson in making sure that you're not making rash decisions without doing proper planning and relying on those people who might be able to give you good advice on how to prepare for such an adventure. Because things he finds out that in reality, society, as long as you're willing to engage and advocate and ask for help, there are ways to problem solve, and there are ways to push through, and ways to rely on those people that exist in your world who might be able to help, like adults that you might be able to ask for help, for example, like myself. So the full novel is here. Okay. This is the PDF version of the novel, okay? So it has basically the full text of the book is in here, and also the audiobook is here, okay? So there is MP3 version, and there's also a version of somebody reading it out on YouTube as well. So best practice, in my opinion, is to have the book up in front of you and trying to follow along with your eyes while you're hearing the book being read out to you. It is designed in a bit of a different way than a traditional book in the sense that it doesn't have chapters. It has what are called journal entries, because the book actually starts at the end of the story where Crabbe has returned from the forest after his misadventures. And then as he is healing and going through some therapy in the hospital, he is writing journals to process exactly what it is that he has gone through. And so each one of the journals is going to have work assigned to it and should be easily followed along in these MP3s or the person reading out on YouTube. You pick which one you'd like. Both of them are equally good. So just going to click on view material here to see if it's going to let me actually load this up. All right, so like each one of these is clickable. Should be easy enough to follow along. Okay. So as far as the work for these go, you have two different ones here. You have a pre-reading exercise where it actually outlines what exactly it is that you'll be working on. All right, so Crabbe by William Bell. So your learning goals for this unit: improving your reading skills, enhancing your vocabulary, increasing the amount of words that you have comfortable use of, developing the skill to correctly answer questions, developing reflection skills both to the novel itself and your own experiences, complete a selection of graphic organizers, and complete a final project. Okay, so you have some online tests attached here. Okay, and these are just for to prompt you on some of the skills, some of the language, some of the words used when being out in the wild and being out in the cold. And so there's some good knowledge bases in terms of just in general knowing some of these things, but also it's to help you understand your overall sense of the kind of experience that Crabbe is going to go through. Okay. So number one, follow the links below to complete the online test of your survival knowledge. And then number two, write a short reflection paragraph about the quiz or quizzes you took and what you may have learned from them. Report your own wilderness survival skill level. Either write that in a private comment or attach a short Google Doc. Either or is fine, okay? So this should take you a fair bit of time to go through, but I think that they're fairly accessible. Your Google text to voice should work if you're somebody who needs to sort of highlight and ask for it to be read out to you, and then just prompt the questions as you go. It should be fairly straightforward, okay? So again, a private comment or a Google Doc shared or uploaded to the classroom is fine for that, okay? So for journal number one, again, you would listen to the audiobook or you would read the book yourself in order to pick through it. Again, you've got the number of ones assigned here. So let's just go through here. So students are to respond to at least one of the possible topics each day. At least one. It would be great if you did more, but at minimum one. Each day by including a Google document response to this post. All answers should be in full sentences, 1 to 2 paragraphs total. So when I say paragraphs, I'm typically talking about 4 to 5 sentences. So really you're looking here at, 5 to 10 sentences total, somewhere in that range. So just sending me, yes, I think so, or that sounds bad, or whatever, you're going to get a prompt back from me to saying this is not enough, right? Use your voice to text. You are able to converse in fuller detail than that. I know that sometimes there's a barrier in terms of getting the amount of words out that you need, but between the two of us, between the feedback that I get, I'm going to prompt you to add more, to try to expand, right? That's the skill development that we're going to be talking about, right? So your response choices after you've listened or read to Journal 1. Question number 1. Do you agree with Crab when he says that most adults don't hear? Explain your response. Question number 2. Have you ever had to spend more than one day in the hospital? If so, what was it like? If not, what do you think it would be like to spend 1 to 2 weeks in the hospital? Question number 3. Crab is reluctant to tell the doctor very much about his experience before he ended up in the hospital. What have you ever withheld information? Have you ever withheld or not told information from an adult? If so, explain the situation. If not, explain why. Again, I don't need to know all the ins and outs and details of your personal life. Just, give me a general sense. Okay? Okay, so there's 2 words there also for you to look up if you're unfamiliar with her. So sibilant, the car sift through with a sibilant whoosh, and inane. Eventually, he has to be rude and interrupt my inane questions. Okay? So take time and look up those 2 words if you're unfamiliar with them. Okay? So just popping back to the chat before I go any further. Any questions about the expectations around the novel study for today? Well, it seems like my stream is fairly lagged from where I was. So I'm hoping that you're still coming through. So if anybody is hearing me right now, can you please let me know that we're still coming through okay? Jen, can you put a note in the chat and make sure that I'm still coming through in a fairly reasonable time?
Rhea?
I'm on the chat.
Where are you?
Okay, I'm glad that I'm still coming through okay, because my actual version of the video chat is like 10 minutes behind me. So I can't double check it. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so going back to the Google Classroom then. Let's take a look here. So flash fiction. This is actually a very fun task in my opinion. Okay. So, what is flash fiction? Flash fiction is a very short story that includes a beginning, a middle, and a resolution. It is not part of a larger story as it has a complete shape. The story will often allude or hint to larger stories that are untold, which makes it really cool to think about. So it's an opportunity to think about storytelling in an English sense without having to feel the pressure of writing a big long story. Now, some of you might be right into the idea of writing a big long story, but as a beginning, this is where the best place is to land, okay? So, Ernest Hemingway, a famous author, supposedly, it's not 100% confirmed, supposedly wrote a very famous 6-word story like this: baby shoes for sale, never worn. So this obviously makes lots of people think about, like, why do they have these baby shoes? Why were they never worn? Did someone pass away in their family? Did they buy them thinking that they were going to have children and then were not able to? Are they thieves? It's so many different layers to the story, right? And so here are some other 6-word stories that also have a similar sort of vibe to them, right? So, sorry soldier, shoes sold in pairs, right? Obviously, I'm thinking that the soldier may have lost a leg in war, and so there's lots of layers to that as well. Knife hidden, he rings the doorbell. First living robots turn me off. Please help, he said. I smiled. So for this task, I'd like you to come up with at least 2 6-word stories. So you need to come up with 2 of them, and they should be 6 words each. So I know that I probably should have changed the spacing on that so that it was the word 2 and then 6-word stories, right? So you're going to write 2 total. Each should be 6 words each. You can obviously, if you want to go into the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 words, you can do that, but try to keep them as short as possible. Attach them in a Google Drive document or in the private comments, but also explain to me briefly what the rest of the story is. Like, what questions am I supposed to be thinking about? And then I'll add if there's any other questions that I have. This task is harder than it looks, so be patient, don't rush it, and enjoy playing around with language. Like, I want you to start thinking about stories and how they're told, because I'd like to do some story writing with us as well. Okay? So, scrolling up, we have textbook, media. So up in the top here, as you can see, I uploaded an English textbook called Crossroads 9. Okay? If it will open. Okay, so again, they are attached here with the page numbers and the file names. Okay, I've also uploaded the Kurzweil version of the textbook if you're somebody who has Kurzweil still on your laptop, which will allow the voice to text stuff to work well, but it is all there. Okay, so in the assignment, so it says, read the short story called Acceptance. Did I not write down what page number that is on? Oh no, it's in the title. Hold on. I put it in the title of the thing, but I didn't put it in the body of it. That doesn't make any sense to do it that way. Okay, so we're just gonna, so it's on page 33. I'm gonna add that into the instructions here. Hold on. Okay. Page 33. Save it. Okay, so you need to write an answer to questions number 1, A, B, C, and D, and E, and either in the private comments or in a Google document attached to this post. Then complete the poster task question number 2. This is simple as using a Word document, or you can use a fancier program like Canva if you'd like to play with it. Okay? I did include that also. So here, let's just go back to this. Okay, so down at the bottom here, there's a link to Canva. As you can also see, this says due Friday, so it is not due today. Okay, so it says, write an answer to the question number 1, A, B, C, D, and E, either in a private comments or in a Google Doc attached to this post. So that you will find that question in the textbook. Complete the poster task question number 2. This is simple as using a Word document, or you can use a fancier program like Canva if you'd like to play with it. Design a poster emphasizing the importance of being true to yourself. As you design your poster, consider the following. Who are you making this poster for? What pictures or colors might get their attention? Should your poster be funny, serious, or a mix? What would keep people's eyes on it? Do you need to sketch a rough draft before you make it? What words should be on it? What is your main slogan going to be? Biggest letters to catch the eyes. What visual images might you be able to take from Google to make this really work? Okay. So if we go over to the textbook, we click on this one. This might take a minute to load. Loading ever so slowly. There we go. Okay, so textbook is up. We need to go down to page 33. Oops, that is too far. All right, there's acceptance. Okay. Acceptance, a short story. A short story. Nerd, geek, Sandy was tired of not fitting in. Monday morning, dressed in black, belly button exposed, and wearing a sneer, she approached the cool kids. Her body tensed, her steps faltered. "Hey man," she said uncertainly. "What's up?" They turned and smiled. "Acceptance! She's in." Then she realized how ridiculous she felt. Taking another look, Sandy knew she wasn't one of them. She turned and made her way to the library. So, then on the next page are the questions. Whoops, too far. All right, so here's question number 1, A, B, C, D, and E. Question number 1, how does Sandy try to fit in? Question number 2, what changed Sandy's mind about wanting to fit in with the cool kids? Question number 3, or C, what do you find Sandy's actions believable? D, have you ever felt left out or excluded from things? E, think about different groups in your school. What are the things that separate one group from another? And then right after that, you can see the poster. Okay, so that's the poster question right there that I've copied into the Google Classroom. Okay, so one last task for today. Literacy test. Okay, so everybody who wishes to get a diploma in high school needs to pass the literacy test or the literacy course to show a standard level of achievement. Now, in order to get into the literacy course, you need to attempt the literacy test. And so it is currently scheduled for students in grade 10, which would mean some of you, in May. Now that we've been sent home, however, I would say that that is perhaps unlikely to occur. So there may be some steps that will have to be changed in the process. However, we should work under the assumption that people are still going to have to do this, whether or not you are in grade 10 right now or you will be in grade 10 next year. So the people who run the literacy test, which are not the people in the school, we don't get to design it. We just get to prepare you for it. There is a practice test here. Okay. It is something that is going to be done on the computer for everybody. And it should be, I think, fairly straightforward. But so I would like you guys to continue to sort of work through and practice it. I will eventually sign the whole thing. I only gave you guys part of it right now. But if you would like to just run through the whole thing and just let me know generally how it went the first time through, just in a comment, like in a Google comment, that's all you need to do, right? So this is the practice test. As you can see, you go to enter, you go to continue, and then it says down the side here, choose a topic to get started. I'd said to do the real life narrative, but if you wanted to go through all of them today, they're all mainly just very short written answers and multiple choice. Okay, so if you click on real life narrative, for example, and click continue, you get your reading selection, which down the side here, you can have it read out to you. You can zoom in, okay? You can like even take out your fancy highlighter and you can draw on it, right? And then you have your questions down the side, okay? So play around with it, get used to it, get a sense of where you're at, okay? It is very much a completion mark at this point. So just take some time and pick through it, okay? So that is the work that has been assigned today. So as I wait for my streaming software to sort of catch up with me, I will be on a definitely faster computer tomorrow because this is not sustainable the way it is. If you'd like to put any comments in the chat and let me know. If you have any comments or if you want to send me an Edsby message, since my YouTube studio seems to be either crashing or lagging or unable to keep itself going right now. I have no idea if I'm live or not. So please let me know. Otherwise, if I'm still streaming, which I hope I am, you may go about your work, and we'll open up a Google Meet sometime around 2 o'clock this afternoon. All right, any comments, questions, complaints, rage quitting, please let me know. Otherwise, please say bye in the chat. I'm glad I'm still live. Hopefully I didn't pick my nose or anything. Okay, if everybody is off to get their work done, we'll see you this afternoon. Please keep the messages coming in and keep on picking through. Okay? Okay, Rod, I see your message there. I don't think I've got a future as a streamer. I hope everybody has a lovely day. Watch out for snow. Apparently snow is coming. All right. Bye, Rod. Good thing I haven't planted any flowers yet. All right, any last minute questions? I'm going to be ending the stream in about 1 minute. This link will get posted, it will stay posted on the classroom, and so therefore, if you were ever to miss this live, it would be available for you to watch when you were able. So it works the best we can, considering the circumstances. Okay, I'm going to end the stream, so I will see you guys later today.